So first of all, could you just tell us what Project Blue even is?
Project Blue is an NES game that I made in 2019, 2020 that is kind of reminiscent of the early Super Mario games or Mega Man. It's a platformer. You run around and shoot things and try to escape from your captors.
Now, the big question when you say that it's an NES game, so it's an NES game coming out in 2024, what made you want to make a game for such an old console?
I first tried to make an NES game in around 2001 or so, and just really wasn't enough known about the system at that point in time to really do that in a meaningful way. So it's something I've kind of been coming back to every few years since then. When I was a really little kid, it was my dream job to make Nintendo games. So it's just kind of me fulfilling that, I guess. And it turns out that it's actually a fairly decent way to make income, so it's not the end of the world.
And talk a little bit about the development process. Like, how long did it take? Like, what kind of hurdles did you have to overcome? Things like that.
So probably the hardest thing is just the actual programming is done in a very old programming language called 6502 assembly, and it's probably 25,000 lines of code. So learning how to do that was a pretty big hurdle just because it's very different than modern programming and requires you to work closely with the hardware in a way that most modern programming doesn't. So you have to really know the ins and outs of the NES as a machine, just so that you can know what's possible, what it's capable of, and so on and so forth. And so that's probably the hardest thing to do. For me, a really big hurdle to get over was finding an artist to work with and getting somebody who is willing to make pixel art for me before I was in a position to be able to pay them. So ended up splitting the project with them, and that is my friend Ellen who did all the pixel art for the game.
I'll definitely say the pixel art is beautiful. Like, just watching it over there and getting a chance to check it out a little bit, it looked gorgeous. So massive props to her for the work on that. Fantastically well put together. Now, obviously, it's meant as an NES game. You designed it as an NES game. Is there any interest in perhaps getting it working on PC so that more than just retro gamers can enjoy it?
Yeah, so we do have a version that is available as a ROM online, and that'll work in most of the big popular NES emulators. So you can play it on a PC, and we also last year released Switch and Xbox versions as well. So we have done that. It's not a huge deal to me, but it was something that a lot of people asked for, and we had some publishers approach us and asked to do that for us, which greatly simplified the process. I probably wouldn't have been able to do it without them, but yeah.
So definitely a passion project.
Yeah, it's I definitely am not making as much money on Project Blue as I do doing modern day programming. I wish I could, but it's not.
And then how's the actual, how's the show going for you for showing off the game and having people check it out?
It's going great. There's a lot of people here who are familiar with the game, who bought a copy off me last year or the year before. And honestly, it's really nice to see those people again and have them tell me that they bought it from me and that they love the game and that they've been playing it and so on and so forth. And it's always nice to see people just kind of stroll up to the TV where we have it set up and a new Nintendo game and, be surprised by that. And it's becoming a more common thing, so that's a less common reaction that I get now than a few years ago. More and more people are putting out Nintendo games, but...
Well, yeah, we've got, NES Maker or whatever, that software tool set that came out that has helped out a lot of people and things of that nature.
Yeah, I think that does handling a lot of the work for you, for sure. So it lowers the bar for people who want to get into it.
And I guess the big question, since this has been out and it seems to be fairly successful, people are definitely interested in it. Any plans for a possible sequel or possibly just working on another NES game?
Yeah, I'm in the middle of another game right now that we've put a lot into upgrading the technology, upgrading the engine for it. So it has four-way scrolling, kind of like Super Mario 3 does, where you can go up and down, you can go left and right, so on. And stuff like that we've been adding into it. And that's not a sequel to Project Blue. It's working with another artist. I'm hoping to get Ellen back to make Project Blue sequel sometime, but she's very busy. She is also in the middle of another game that she's been working on for several years, and so I'm hoping that the time will come when we're both free to work on a game together, because it's great working with her.
So if people want to check out Project Blue or anything else that you got going on, where can people find you guys on the internet? No website or social media or anything?
Not really. I have a website, big cartel site, projectblue.bigcartel.com, which is where you can buy cartridges, or either for the Famicom or for the NES. And then we also have pins and posters up on there. And then I do have a Twitter account. It's Toggle Switch 2 is the name of my Twitter account, but I can't say that I've posted there since Elon took over, so I don't know.
We definitely feel that. Well, you know what? We'll have, at the very least, we'll have a link to the site where people can check out the cartridges and stuff down below this. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Yeah, thank you.
Anything else that you want to add? Any final thoughts?
No, thanks a lot, you guys.
All right, thank you.